So it's time for me to give you officially my Crown Jewel 2025 predictions. As of the recording right now, we currently have only 5 matches, and Crown Jewel is taking place this time from Perth, Australia, rather than Riyadh, Saudi Arabia, or wherever the fuck they want to go for these Crown Jewel events. But actually, when you take into account the 5 matches that we have and the sort of stories that we've gotten, I feel like we have a better build for Crown Jewel than we did for WrestlePalooza, because really this match, or really this event, is being carried by 2 matches that have been, I guess, they're like can't miss matches, right? That being the Cody Rhodes Seth Rollins match and the John Cena AJ Styles match, which are going to be on this event. I guess we might as well start off with Roman Reigns and Bronson Reed in an Australian street fight. This match was made official this past Monday night. I really don't know what the actual, what an Australian street fight is, other than just a regular ass street fight. Like, is there gonna be fucking kangaroos here? Or what's the difference here? And also, a street fight is literally like the most boring, hardcore stipulation that there is, right? You could have had a stretcher match. They were kind of alluding to a stretcher match. You could have had any other type of match here, but you chose a street fight. So it's going to be a typical WWE street fight here. I would have to assume Bronson Reed gets the win here, because Roman just beat him at Clash in Paris. If Roman beats him again, it's going to make Bronson look like a fucking geek. And if you're going to have the Vision go into War Games, you want to have them actually look somewhat strong, somewhat tough here against Roman Reigns and against the baby faces, sort of as an unstoppable force that they have to take down. So I would have to assume that Bronson Reed would get the win here. We then move on to Stephanie Vaquer against Tiffany Stratton. There really is no story here. When you compare this to the men's version, there really is no story here, as far as, you know, the whole angle that they've recently run is the whole can they coexist angle, which is really just so played out at this point. I feel like I've seen can they coexist angles like every week on Raw or on SmackDown. As far as the winner goes, this literally could go any other way. They've been touting recently that Tiffany she's undefeated for the rest, or for the entirety of 2025, so they could keep that going. I really don't know who's gonna win here. I would assume possibly Stephanie, just because there's less of her that we've seen. Like, we've seen Tiffany, you know, against Nia Jax, and she's, I guess, the more established of the two on the main roster. So they may want to have Stephanie get the win here. Next, we have Rhea Ripley and Io Sky against the Kabuki Warriors. For me, I think this is probably the obvious pick, and that's going to be Rhea and Io. Number one, because Rhea, this is Perth, Australia. It's just like a no-brainer here. And Io Sky, who doesn't love Io Sky? So I do predict that Rhea and Io are going to get the win here against the Kabuki Warriors. If it was up to me, I would probably the Kabuki Warriors go over, because they just turned heel. And if they just lose their first match as a heel, it's kind of like, what? You know what I mean? It's a head scratcher, but Rhea and Io are probably my safe picks. Next, we move on to John Cena against AJ Styles. This was just mentioned and just made official on Twitter, with John Cena and AJ Styles, you know, tweeting that they want this match. Really, when you look at it, it's such a Triple H move, because there was reports after the match was made official that Triple H and everybody in creative wanted the fans to feel like they had some sort of power in this John Cena retirement tour. So how far along was this actually planned in advance? Like, was John Cena and AJ Styles the plan all along? Because I don't really think that's what the actual plan was. I think that they actually saw the backlash that John Cena's, you know, entire run has gotten thus far, and they pivoted and they decided to give us this match. Nonetheless, I do predict that this is going to be probably up there with John Cena's better matches of this entire 2025 year, against Cody Rhodes at SummerSlam, against Logan Paul at Clash in Paris, against Sami at SmackDown. So I will predict that this is probably going to be a great match between both men. I do predict, however, Cena is going to get the win here. I feel like Cena, it just makes a lot more sense if Cena gets the win here, and they have teased sort of who is going to face him at his final match in December. Sort of a tournament style bracket where maybe the winner gets to challenge John Cena, possibly being Gunther against John Cena. And lastly, we move on to the main event crown jewel match here, Seth Rollins against Cody Rhodes. Really, when you actually look at this match, the crown jewel championship is the least important thing that's going on here. They've built this match up so well within the last 3 weeks. It's literally the best thing that's going on these entire programs. The whole dynamic between Cody and Seth, because Seth, you know, he gets into the minds of Roman and of Punk, but nobody really seems to have Seth's number other than Cody, and even Paul Heyman can kind of see that as well. And they've really played up the fact of, if Seth loses this match against Cody, it's over for him. Everything that he's built up to this point, it's over for him. Even, you know, Paul Heyman, you know, he may have to reconsider why he picked Seth. And I really enjoyed that factor, because now it's unpredictable. Even though you kind of know that Seth is going to win. I mean, Seth has literally no wins against Cody. And like I mentioned, if you want to have the division look somewhat strong going into War Games, why not have Seth look strong here against the win against Cody? Now, I don't predict that Seth is going to beat Cody flat out clean as a whistle. I do predict some outside interferences. Possibly Drew McIntyre gets involved, possibly a New Vision member, or possibly Randy Orton gets involved here as well, because they've been kind of teasing the fact as well of Randy Orton and Cody Rhodes, what's going on there. Or maybe Paul Heyman brings in Brock Lesnar, and, you know, the shots are called by Heyman, because, again, that has been mentioned as well, like, hey, who's actually leading the Vision? Is it Heyman, the Oracle, or is it Seth Rollins? But nonetheless, I do predict a Rollins victory over Cody Rhodes. But post your comments down below, let me know what you think of my predictions for Crown Jewel 2025, and until next time, I will see all of you on the next one.